All right, it's 5:30. I'll call this meeting to order. Please stand. Alderman Benstock's not leading prayer tonight.
Lord God, as this year draws to a close, and as we look forward to next year, we thank you for your blessings in so many areas of our lives, our state, and our country. We thank you for the people you sent to help those so ruinously affected by the hurricanes, by fires, and other natural disasters. We thank you for the protection afforded us through our military, our law enforcement, firefighters, first responders, and other heroes. We thank you, Lord, that the recent elections were free of corruption in prior years. We thank you for the blessings you delivered to us, the gift of our lives, our health, our safety, and our resources. We thank you for allowing us to share our blessings with those less fortunate. We wish we could do for all what we do for the one, maybe the few. We acknowledge that we are blessed by God to bless others. We ask you, Lord, that you guide us and empower us in our lives, in our jobs, and in the work we do for the city of Mount Carmel. We ask, Lord God, that you direct our leaders and that they do what's right for our community, our state, and our country. Humbly, Lord, we thank you for all the blessings you've given us and for all those blessings which will make us all better people. We do this, Lord, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, and all God's people said.
Amen.
All right, Alderman Sugar leads in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Patrick. Here. Alderman Sugar.
Here.
Alderman Cross.
Here.
Alderman Benstock.
Here.
Alderman Gillum. Vice Mayor Bear. Here. Mayor Gibson.
Here. Thank you. Just want to welcome everybody for coming out tonight. We do have a little bit of agenda to go over here, but hopefully we'll try to get through that as quick as possible. And so getting started with that, do I hear a motion for approval of correction of the minutes of Board of Mayor and Alderman, meeting dated November 21st, 2024, department reports and monthly financial reports?
I make a motion to accept.
No, I'll second that motion.
I have a motion by Alderman Sugar, seconded by Alderman Benstock. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Visitors' comments. Any person wishing to address the board shall stand and state their name, address, and shall be limited to a brief presentation. The board may not participate in any discussion and cannot vote on the subject you present, absent an emergency. The earliest time the board might discuss and vote on your matter will be at the next board meeting. Individuals and or group representatives who have placed an item on tonight's agenda will be allowed to make a brief comment when that agenda item is open for discussion. Do we have anyone who wants to make a comment tonight? Moving on. Moving on into new business. New business item number A, audit by David M. Ellis. Mr. Ellis is actually not going to be available tonight, so we're going to have to postpone that until January. He let us know earlier today that he was ill and not going to be able to make it tonight, so we will just skip over A and postpone that to January. So moving on to item B, discussion and consideration, adoption of rules of order. Do I have a motion to approve that?
Make a motion.
Second.
As far as discussion in the legislative memorandum, just to cover that here, in an effort to ensure business Board of Mayor and Alderman of the Town of Mount Carmel, the following the local jurisdictional rules of order combined with Robert's rules of order being made to offer to ensure expedient and efficient execution of the town's elected board member business obligations are met and the public is well served, no financial impact, and staff recommends approval. Do we have any other discussion on that?
I do. After speaking with the town attorney, he recommends that we come back at the next meeting with a resolution adopting this as well. So you can pass it as a discussion point, and then I will go back and form it as a resolution, so it's a formal adoption.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, so just do a discussion point then, let's do all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item number C, discussion and consideration adoption of a communication strategy for local town elected officials.
So if you want me to take the lead for this, since it's a consideration item. After our last discussion in the workshop with Alderman Patrick offering an alternative with the iPad thoughts, I did some rough searches and such, and it may make it an easier process. So I'd like to add that as an additional consideration under the conversation here, to maybe go to the tablet-based system as opposed to a phone-based system. What that means is you'll still be using your own personal devices for telephonic communications or text messages or things like that. But it will allow me to send business class emails and things like that to you as a group and make sure that there's no surprises for you all. So I'm willing to entertain that as a discussion point for you all, in addition to the other things that I'll offer up. I think it's imperative that the board members all have a town email as opposed to your own personals. And I'm going to encourage passage of that, and that would be included in the tablet-based computing system. It will help in the delivery of your packets, because what my goal would be to have a Wi-Fi only tablet-based system. So it wouldn't be a wireless connection. So what would happen is we would buy tablet-based, and I'll use the industry, the iPad industry. You can buy a Wi-Fi only without cellular service for like $349 to $499. And it depends on what you get. I would also encourage us to purchase keypads or keyboards with you as well, because it's kind of hard to type on an iPad with a pen, just my opinion. So I wanted to throw that out there as an additional discussion point from what you brought forward in the workshop. And I would open it up to any of the board's conversation and where we go with this.
Do you have copies of that on the tablet that you can pass?
I do not. I do not. And it was me doing simple searches on, you can get things anywhere from Best Buy to Amazon to other places. Our wireless carrier only sells it with a cellular package, so they're not an option for me.
On the financial side, roughly speaking, it's about $350 a one-time fee versus a yearly fee or a monthly fee.
Of $35 per
Right.
device.
You'd be making a one-time investment purchase, and that's it for the tablets.
So you're talking then of deleting the phones, the phone numbers, we would use our personal?
You would still use your personal numbers for phone calls and such.
But-
So, go ahead.
Wasn't the point of getting the phones so that our phones would not be,
People can ask you about text messages and phone conversations, but as far as what's discoverable during a process, and it requires a much more lengthy, and I'll let the attorney speak to that, but if somebody were to claim that, there was collusion amongst the board, then they could ask to see every one of your personal devices to see if you all were speaking together on a conference call or something like that. With the town phones, we can avoid all of that because I can provide that information and it's simple and there's no question. Does that answer your question? The answer is you still would be able to use your personal device. Just because you had a town phone doesn't mean that you still couldn't or wouldn't use your
Right.
personal device.
but if I have a town phone instead of my phone, my personal phone would not be discoverable. Yes?
That is the goal, is to have that. You would have to prove up, in order to avoid it being discoverable, that there's never been any communications that way.
You've never done any business.
It's not a quick thing. It's not like you say, hey, I want to see your phone, give me your phone, I'll
Right.
look at it. This is in the middle of a lawsuit where you've got claims going back and forth. There's a discovery process. And one of the things they would ask to do would be to be able to access your phones. If you had a business phone and a personal phone, obviously, we could say that business phones were all businesses transacted. We could pass a resolution instructing the board agrees that they will transact all business on that. Would that absolutely safeguard your personal phones from being discoverable? I can't tell you that.
No.
But the idea is to limit that exposure in those situations.
Would there be any, because I understand both, kind of both sides of that, trying to look at the most cost-effective way in regards to having a Wi-Fi only larger device, but also the liability aspect of the personal communication phones. Is there anything that would be there if, if the idea is that we're communicating through that device, through the iPad, almost a good faith would come into play there, that this is the device that we're having for communication, so it would reduce the liabilities of personal?
I think that ties into the idea of the board having a resolution, a formal established policy, you use that only, okay? What it may very well do is it would give you very good grounds to ask that if the personal phone is to be discoverable, it be done in camera, all right? With it being looked at by an impartial third party to see if there are any business being conducted, but it wouldn't become necessarily your phone discoverable to the opposing side. You'd have much more of a basis for a legal request that these be done in camera. That's, again, coming up to that good faith thing of trying to show that you truly are establishing the guidelines and using this business town phone or iPad or whatever for that, because we communicate with Facebook and iPads and computers and stuff like that, and all that's discoverable at some point under the right circumstances. But bringing it back to this, town phone, personal phone, obviously the town phone is going to be discoverable because that's supposedly what it's used for, is now business. Whether the personal is depends upon the judge's determination whether that's relevant.
What you're saying, if I understood this right, between you two, that a state or the government official, say, could come in there and confiscate your phone.
No, I'm not saying they confiscate your phone. I'm saying you would have a court order where your phone, the contents of your phone would need to be discoverable, and you would have to be downloaded to some opposing party. But short of that, it would be downloaded into a in-camera setting. In-camera means it's not something that's publicly available for information. If you had proprietary stuff and the companies have proprietary information, they have to disclose it, but it's done in camera. It's done in either the judge's chambers, it's done by somebody appointed by the judge that's not affiliated with either side of the case, to go through and look and say, is there something in there that's discoverable? If it is, we're going to give it to the other side. If there's not, but that's true, it's no different. It's a search warrant for your communications for you, and you have that now. You have subpoenas for phone records. We have
I think I'll
subpoenas
take a rain check on that phone. They don't need to be nosing around my place.
I understand your feelings.
And the other thing of it is, I have enough problem with the phone that I got. I don't need to know, and I'm not carrying two phones.
So therein lies the reason why Alderman Patrick brought it up, and it's a cost thing as well for the town. So there's about a $2,800 expenditure on the front end for just the tablet based on my rudimentary search, instead of it being year one or of option A or B for the phones, and then there's a recurring cost of $34.99 per phone per month. So that
How much?
$34.99 per phone per month. So that goes forward as a recurring cost. If we bought the Wi-Fi only, it's not a cellular cost. The cost of the tablet device is the cost of the tablet device, and that's it. And then there's a Wi-Fi connection, whether it's at your home, whether it's here, and we would certainly want to set it up here first. That way you can get it, and then you can bring it home and set it up at your home with the Wi-Fi or what have you. And whenever the agenda is available, you can pull it you can pull it from the website. You'll be able to pull it from the email or whatever that's sent to you based on that. So for $288, I can get all of you the Outlook town email, so you're not dealing with your own personal devices and your own personal emails.
That $288 per
No. $288 total dollars for everybody to have a town email, period. And then $2,800 roughly for everyone to have a tablet device to be able to do the meetings. We're looking at additional things, and I'll share, and I'm not ready to go too deep into a conversation about that, but it allows you to have all of the supporting information instead of us making a 95-page printed document every day and killing a tree for an agenda. It'll allow you to keep it on the tablet and do it that way. So,
Has there ever been a time that our personal phones were subpoenaed?
I'm not aware of any, no. Now, I know that there has been in the country, I mean, I'm with that.
Right.
But in this locality and for this board, not in the years that I've been around, that I've ever been aware of that, no.
So the possibility of discovery is really minimal. The
We would
chances are.
I would agree with that statement, yeah.
I'm sorry?
Depends on who's sitting there.
Well, yeah. But I think we've got plenty of opportunities to have been sued, and it hasn't come to that.
So,
It takes a big lawsuit, a lot of money up front to get that kind of
Okay.
discovery, and that's what you're not talking about is a little, relatively low dollar cost is not gonna have that kind of discovery.
Okay.
do we want to, so right now, currently, we don't have a motion on the floor. Do we have, do we want to take any action on this tonight?
what I'm really looking for is direction from you all as a collective body on whether you want me to explore in more depth the tablet options. And I'm probably going to go forward with gathering email addresses for you all preemptively. That's something that I think is within our budget to be able to be spent. So I don't think that's a problem. And it'll allow for the partitioning, if you will, of your business activities in email versus your personal activities in your email.
And I think to add on to that, it just looks more professional than having 5 different domains and all of that. Having everybody just has the uniformed email address for that. And as far as the equipment vote, I don't plan to actually vote on that either way. But I do think that the idea of not having the recurring cost is attractive with that, or it's a fixed equipment cost. It should give you should get at least 6 to 7 years out of that device before you would have to, before it hits obsolete status and would have to be replaced. The phone I think might be a little overkill, and would give us more options with the, and would give us options down the road with the tablets if we wanted to look at tablet-based voting system type stuff. Those are pretty cheap on the iPad to have set up where it votes and records the votes, minutes, records, all of that. Just mainly just looking to increase efficiency here.
Is that how the county does it?
Yes.
Have you had any problems with using the county tablet for county businesses?
No. But I strictly do county business. That's because same way with the phone would be knowing that either one of those it's not like your private cell phone that's yours, it's anybody, it could be, it's the county's device. The same would be with this, would be the city's device. So it's not truly the elected officials, you're just carrying it for your term. But that would be my recommendation, to look at doing that, the tablet option, because at least that way we have the good faith route of, we've provided a city-owned device with city email, this is what you're supposed to do business on. If you choose to, that's your personal decision to use your personal device, or how you choose to use it. But yeah, I did think that at least the emails would be a good option.
I'll make a motion, we go with the tablets and the emails.
A motion on the floor that we proceed with the tablets and the emails. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Alderman Patrick. Is there any more discussion?
I have a question. So if a citizen wants to contact us, they have our private phones to do that?
It probably is already on MTAS's website. I believe, would say. A month after the election, they're usually pretty quick to update it. Your home address and phone number.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just unfortunately,
We don't get called a lot, just Some staff will get a call or something.
And the best thing about that is when you do get those calls, the great thing is that we have a city management and Tyler to quickly for us to call and refer to get those questions answered.
Okay.
And what we could do is funnel them towards your email over phone calls. If they have phone calls, they should call City Hall so we can deal with it. If they're not getting satisfaction, we can always give them the mayor's issued phone, because the mayor is issued a phone. So we could certainly do that if we're not doing our jobs. And that'll keep you out of the personal phone business, hopefully. But that's just an operational thing that we could probably do to alleviate that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, seeing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Alderman Patrick,
Yes.
Alderman Benstock,
Yes.
Alderman Cross,
Yes.
Alderman Sugar,
Yes.
Alderman Gillum,
I'm gonna be the Lone Ranger, no.
You're always gonna.
Alderman, or Vice Mayor Bear,
Yes.
Mayor Gibson.
Abstain. Motion carries. Forgot that was me for a second. All right. Moving on to item D, discussion and consideration of TDEC attorney choice and direction letter.
So once again, this is something that we have to decide with the fact that our attorney of record has changed firms or is in the process of changing firms. And we have to choose a decision. And the town attorney is here as well to kind of help navigate this, because this is out of my scope and realm.
It's as simple as that. The attorney we retained is moving to a different firm. As part of that process, they're required to ask the client, would they like to stay with the firm they're with? Would they like to go to the new firm with the same attorney? Or they could have a new attorney with the old firm? I strongly recommend we stick with the attorney we went to. It really doesn't impact us that much about what firm he's in. We hired him not for that, we hired him for his expertise in the area we're dealing with. So there's one that says, transfer matters to William Penny at Thompson along with any unapplied trust accounts and terminate client relationships with Burr & Foreman LLP. Burr & Foreman is the firm that he's presently working with, that we presently have the agreement. But I would suggest that's the middle of the 5 options there.
Would the price still be the same no matter what firm he's with?
Yes, we've already confirmed that with him. That price will be the same. And we're coming up to the issue of we're going to have to consider the budget we put him under and stuff. We were hoping that when this started out, if you remember, it was a commissioner's assessment, and we were dealing with that. You know, things deteriorated rather quickly after that. We've gotten numerous NOV, notice of violations, and it's been very difficult trying to work with TDEC to resolve the commissioner's order when they're saying, hey, you've got additionally things that are continuing to pile up. And so that's what is dragging this out. The city manager has done a very good job and hopefully has some very good news in the future about us being able to meet the requirements that TDEC has put upon us. Well, actually, are statutory. You know, we have to have a licensed operator for the plant. We do not. We're in violation. There's a lot of things that they could do or not do. Hope Mr. Stables, again, been working with TDEC, working with outside firm. You heard the gentleman from Infomark that was here discuss his company and his possible assumption of the wastewater treatment facility. So that's where we're at. I would suggest we continue with the same attorney we've had all along.
There's a part 2 to this particular thing too, and that is the fact that I would like to authorize an additional 10 hours with this gentleman. If we're able to do the things that I'm trying to accomplish, we'll be able to get in a position where we can have a discussion with TDEC about dispensing with the commissioner's order and the NOVs. So, and that'll require him to be paid. The other thing is I need to correct a Scrivener's error. I got it updated. His hourly rate is not 500, it's 595 an hour. So I will take the brunt of that because that was a typo in this when I looked at it. So, and I got that from Joe yesterday. So just wanted to put that out there.
I make a motion to continue with Mr. Penny just because he's been the one that's handled it so far in West Village.
Yeah, he's just been able to tread water with us and with them, and that's pretty much what we've done. That's the honor and show on his.
Yes, with the including of the tenant one.
So a motion on the floor to continue with Mr. William Penny Thompson. That'll be the third option on the list in front of us here with the approved 10 additional 10 hours. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Alderman Patrick. Is there further discussion on that? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Patrick,
Yes.
Alderman Benstock,
Yes.
Alderman Cross,
Yes.
Alderman Sugar,
Yes.
Alderman Gillum.
Yep.
Vice Mayor Bear,
Yes.
Mayor Gibson.
Yes, motion carries. Moving on down to item B, first reading ordinance 24-537 budget amendment. And we'll get to that.
So as I explained in our workshop, this is a budget amendment to account for 3 grants that we've been awarded, 2 for the fire department, 1 for the police department, and the only one that requires a match is the fire truck grant, requires a match of $80,000. So this is increasing our revenues, but also increasing our expenditures, so it's accounted for in the budget.
Make a motion to accept it.
Second.
I have a motion by Alderman Sugar, second by Alderman Gillum. Is there any further discussion with that? I did just want to echo the thanks to the fire department. I know that took a lot of work for y'all to get that, a lot of groundwork to get that, and just certainly tell your team that we appreciate that, because that's a substantial savings for us. You know, getting a fire truck for that price of equipment for $80,000 it's a big deal, not just to us, but to all operating the county. So we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Patrick,
Yes.
Alderman Benstock,
Yes.
Alderman Sugar,
Yes.
Alderman Cross,
Yes.
Alderman Gillum, Vice Mayor Bear,
Yes.
Mayor Gibson.
Yes. All right, continuing on, ordinance 24-535, official depository for city funds.
Our municipal code to include generic language for banking and depositing our town funds. And this just incorporates the Tennessee Code annotated requirements for municipalities.
I make a motion to accept.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor by Alderman Sugar, second by Alderman Benstock. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Patrick,
Yes.
Alderman Benstock.
Yes.
Alderman Cross,
Yes.
Alderman Sugar,
Yes.
Alderman Gillum, Vice Mayor Bear,
Yes.
Mayor Gibson.
Yes. Motion carries. Continue on to item G, first reading ordinance 24-535, purchasing policy. 539, I'm sorry, purchasing policy.
And we'll be sunsetting 23-528 in this process. So this will pull us current with the current TCA directive and the MTAS recommendations. And it'll allow us to navigate the sealed proposal process by rewriting this ordinance as such. So that's what's contained within the document. There's supporting documentation in there as well. Entertain any questions from you all if it becomes a discussion.
Make a motion to accept.
I have a motion on the floor by Alderman Stewart, or second?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Patrick. Any further discussion?
Just one quick question. We did the increase for Emily to 25,000 after that came out with state. What are you adding to that?
The fact that you can do a sealed proposal process which addresses competence and qualification over price. And the reason for that is in some pursuits of solutions, the solution is not as obvious as it should be, and low bid is not the right answer. So that is the reason for this rewrite, because it allows us to address it from a competence qualification side moreover than the dollar and cent side. Doesn't mean we won't be responsible in how we spend the dollars and cents, just to make sure that everybody understands. But that is not the most primary importance. If you get the wrong thing because you went on low bid and you have to replace it 15 times instead of 5, your total cost is more expensive in the end with that. So that's basically the best way I can explain it.
It's again, the qualifications of the person, or engineer, in this case, for
Any company that we would,
wastewater treatment plant, whatever it may be. It's not something we use that often. It's something the town actually has to make a determination of why you're using this. It's not an attempt to generally get you away from the sealed bid, you know. This is those circumstances where expertise, qualifications, experience in the field take more precedence than the straight cost does. So there's a specific statute set out, and that's what's been copied in this ordinance. Like you read it, it's pretty straightforward.
And this is something that where that would come into play, for example, would be the sewer plant. We're not just going to open low bidders for who can run the sewer plant. You want to know the competence, you want to know their track record, you want to know their training qualifications, abilities, et cetera.
Exactly. Like you said, also, sometimes there's just so few purveyors of the services you need that, you know, you can't low bid it. So, yes, that's exactly what this would allow us to put out sealed proposals for the sewer plant operation, which we couldn't do until you approve this ordinance.
Do we have any further discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Alderman Patrick,
Yes.
Alderman Benstock,
Yes.
Alderman Cross,
Yes.
Alderman Schuler,
Yes.
Alderman Gillum, Vice Mayor Bear,
Yes.
Mayor Gibson.
Yes. Motion carries. Continuing on item H, discussion and consideration 2025 community outreach event scheduled by resolution 24641. And resolution 24641, let's read through this into short one real quick. Resolution in regards to Board of Mayor Alderman of the Town of Mount Carmel, Tennessee, authorized approval of 2025 community outreach event schedule, whereas money was budgeted in the FY25 budget for community outreach events, and whereas the passage of the event schedule provides ample time to maximize awareness and increase participation. Now for be it resolved by the Board of Mayor Alderman being in Mount Carmel on this 19th date, December 2024, that Section 1 Board of Mayor Alderman hereby authorize the approval of the following 2025 community outreach schedule: Easter egg hunt Saturday, April 12th, Nerf War Saturday, May 17th, 4th of July on Friday, July 4th, Back to School Splash Saturday, August 2nd, Fall Festival September 20th, Halloween on May and October 31st, Christmas tree lighting December 1st, parade December 13th, Santa Run December 20th. Board Mayor and Alderman also authorized the approval of other events, the town administrator within the limits of the approved budget. Resolution shall take immediately the public welfare declaring it.
Make a motion to accept?
A motion by Alderman Sugar to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Patrick. Is there further discussion on that?
Yes, I would like to see some, we have nothing that, nothing for the veterans. We could do Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and we could also do something for National Law Enforcement Week.
So things like that, I would love to, once we can get it ironed out, to know what that might look like. That's going to be covered with the compass of Section 2. What would, because I mean, as far as iron out what you want that to look like.
What I've got it written down so I can give it to
Okay,
you, but
sure.
basically it would be an open house with the National Guard, something from 5 to 8 p.m. Be visiting the displays and the vehicles over there, you know, singing the national anthem, pledge of allegiance, speech from the National Guard commander, speech from our mayor, John, that's you, John. Snacks and photographs we would pick up, and then close the events by 8 o'clock. National Law Enforcement Week starts Sunday, May 11th, goes through Saturday, May 17th. And do a similar open house, 5 to 7 p.m. Be a speech from Chief Larson, and then followed up by a speech from you. They could look at the vehicles, listen to the kids, give them plastic badges, and then let them play with the siren. Veterans Day would be very much like Memorial Day, having an open house in the National Guard. So I think the cost would be minimal, and I think we owe it to our veterans and to our law enforcement to at least acknowledge them.
Absolutely.
Have you spoken to the National Guard about this already?
No, if not.
That was going to be my next question, because I know we've been trying to coordinate something with them for over a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the problem with over there. We can rent the facility, like the police, the law enforcement deal, that one we could do more in-house.
Right.
Getting their equipment becomes like government work. Like if you're talking about the National Guard equipment.
Right.
We've been working, I don't want to say too much in regards to that, but we have talked, they have changed commands. We talked to them, probably what was that, in July, August? So we're really working on trying to set something up to get all their equipment out, working with the school, and trying to do that around Veterans Day would be in November.
Great idea.
The, do we want to, we can come back and essentially add those anytime approved within the budget.
Right.
I would have no problem with any of that, as long as we've got it a little bit more ironed out that we could advertise it and know for sure we have permission. I mean, with the National Guard, that's the law enforcement stuff. The school, they, there's a lot of opportunities I hope to have with the police department, and they do things already. Where anytime the school has an event, you'll notice we have a couple officers up there walking around, things like that. But
For the National Law Enforcement Week, we can invite other law enforcement agencies in the county
absolutely,
to participate. I mean, I think it would be great. I mean, the sheriff's office has an MRAP. I don't know, many people have never seen an MRAP, but it's an amazing piece of equipment.
and the MRAP was definitely on my, I don't want to say column favorite list, but request for the sheriff to bring to the school sometime, because you're right, that truck is pretty cool. The MRAP is very cool.
An MRAP is basically a tank on wheels.
Oh, okay.
It's highly armored. The windows will withstand repeated 50 caliber rounds, not indefinitely, but repeated. And you have, I think, 15 people sitting in the back. You've got two up front.
Like a SWAT.
It is used for SWAT in the civilian world.
But it's bigger than your
Yeah.
typical SWAT vehicles.
Okay.
John, what we used to do when I was with the state patrol, we had that out there on, not Memorial Day, but Veterans Day. We had all the police cars out there lined up. They could bring the kids out there, get their picture taken. We get and I don't know whether they've got one or not, we get the, can't think what the name of it is, it's, drunk lights. You know, they put these glasses on. Put a line out there where they walk 10 miles, and that's where I had to walk beside them to catch them, because most of them ain't gonna do it.
We had that here one time with the golf cart. They tried to drive a golf cart with no glasses.
We don't
years
put
ago.
them, we ain't put them on.
And put them behind a wheel of anything.
Yeah, that was years ago.
That sounds like a horrible idea.
It's just gonna be a drunk goggles, just what it is, and you're gonna walk that line, so you'll know exactly how a drunk is when he's out there.
That's a good idea.
And I think Labor Day Veterans Day would be a good day for that. Have a car show out there and have police vehicles out there, have the state patrol bring theirs in. They could get a look at all of it.
Chief?
Sounds good.
Is that a motion to amend?
I didn't hear you.
Is that a motion to amend the list and add Veterans Day?
Yeah.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
And let's also include National Law Enforcement Week.
Are you good with that, to include Law Enforcement Week?
You could do that, Veterans Day and law enforcement.
Well, yeah, but
You still second?
I'll go along with that.
You still second that, Darby?
Yes.
Okay.
but
So in regards to the amendment, do we have any conversation, any further discussion in regard to the amendment of adding Law Enforcement Week and Veterans Day with TBD of what that looks like down the road?
Yes.
All in favor in regards to the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Amendment carries. So back to the original resolution with the amendments of adding National Law Enforcement Week and Veterans Day. Do we know the date of Veterans Day off the top of my chance?
November 11th.
November 11, okay. Is there any further discussion on the rest of that? Roll call, please.
Patrick,
Yes.
Alderman Benstock.
Yes.
Alderman Cross.
Yes.
Alderman Shuler.
Yes.
Alderman Gillum.
Yep.
Vice Mayor Bear.
Yes.
Mayor Gibson.
Yes. Motion carries. Continue on item I, discussion consideration brush and large item pickup by resolution 24-642.
From the workshop discussion and the previous discussions of the board, put before you the resolution to put this issue to rest once and for all. I believe I collected everything that was necessary to do that, so we addressed the suspension of the previous and those things, and we encompassed it all into one. So I believe that was done in this, and sit ready to answer any questions should you have.
Could we decide we leave that and let it go, let the operator figure out what they need?
Staff will work it out, yes.
Yeah.
That is what that is what the resolution says,
Okay.
is it will be handled by the staff, and they'll continue to do what they're doing to make it work. And it's apparently working well, because I'm not getting complaints every day.
Yeah, they know what's going on.
Correct.
So you can have a motion to approve that.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Alderman Sugar, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion? One thing that I would like to note with that, obviously we're wanting to incorporate some of this information into the website, but this large item pickup, because it has been changed probably twice or three times in the 4 years that I've been on the board, and 3 or 4 times before that, this may be one of those things that when we get ready to push out that drive of traffic, that we want to include that in an actual like mailer that we send out. Sending something written out to every household, just knowing that we're not going to reach everyone digitally. I feel like a large item pickup is one that's, probably could cut off a few questions of by doing something, getting some information out to people. Any other discussion on that? Roll call.
Alderman Patrick,
Yes.
Alderman Benstock,
Yes.
Alderman Cross,
Yes.
Alderman Shuler,
Yes.
Alderman Gillum, Vice Mayor Bear,
Yes.
Mayor Gibson.
Yes. Item J, discussion and consideration, town administrator agreement
I would like to table that, Mayor,
till, when would you like to tell us here?
to the next meeting.
Till the next meeting? Okay. Alderman Bear, Vice Mayor Bear has made a motion to table that until January's meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. On to item K, discussion and consideration wastewater treatment plant sludge removal.
So, to continue our good record of not having violations, we're going to be required to haul some more sludge. So that's why I'm coming before you to kind of talk about that. And this is where we're at. I need to get 10 loads hauled off to continue to keep us up to date. We're still not there. The next phase of the project, as you all know, the sludge management is something that is on that, but that's not in the immediate future. So what you're probably going to see is a future proposal that will have us hauling sludge on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. And what that'll do is it'll get us processing that sludge out of the plant. And we'll get to a place where we're not moving it around the plant and not removing it from site. So I hope all that makes sense.
Basically moving it one time.
Excuse me?
Basically just moving it one time, or?
Moving it one time into a truck to haul off to the landfill, basically is what we're talking about. So
Is that a dry sludge?
the answer is yes, but it is not as dry as it could be.
Are we allowed to find a farmer to dump it on their farm ground?
I'm gonna caution us to get into that business because it's a similar situation to hazmat. And what I mean by that is you own something cradle to grave when you have a hazmat situation. So if you do ground application, you have to do ground testing. And if anything comes back, and it may not be your fault from your sludge, it may be Canadian geese came and contaminated it. So I'm concerned about the city's liability when we do those types of things, and I've been hesitant to allow us to move into that area. So I know there's others that are doing it and doing just fine. I'd rather not be the test case that gets the town into a bad situation where we're now dealing with a Superfund site. So I hope all that made sense, but that's the hesitation I have about recommending ground application.
Good fertilizer.
Depends on what you're sticking in there.
Yeah.
Then you can put it down in the cornfield before it flies so high. But that's a pretty spring corn you ever seen.
Yeah.
So the recommendation shown in summary here is that our wastewater consultant advised we need sludge hauling services, have 10 loads removed from the plant, approximately 2,400 gallons per load, or 24,000 gallons total. Per load fee is $750 or $7,500 in total. That would be the recommendation from staff and consultant. Do we have entertain a motion to take action on that?
Yes. Motion.
A motion by Alderman Benstock, do we have a second? Motion second by Alderman Cross. Any further discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we got through that pretty quick.
Yes.
Board comments. So I've got just a few things here, real short and sweet. Over the next couple of months, we'll have the elected officials training coming up. Certainly would recommend everybody try to get that knocked out as quick as possible, just so we stay in compliance with the state. It's also a good resource to have. If you don't know about MTAS's website, there's a lot of places where you can see examples of resources. The case of has everybody ever been sued over, those type of, has this ever happened, is a really great place to find all across the state where you can see where it has. Also, we're going to hopefully have MTAS in for a strategic planning session sooner rather than later in the first of the year. The reason why I'd like to see that happen earlier is because that would kind of really get us a head start on the budget. Knowing what we're going to try to look to accomplish this year and fund, what the budget looks like. That's a great time to kind of get your ideas in, and we'll see what kind of makes the cut for the budget time. Last thing I've got here is the Santa Run's coming up on Saturday. Start at 8 o'clock. We'll have 2 different trucks running up and down each street. This is the 59th year that that's been done in this town, which I think is
Awesome.
it's a pretty awesome tradition. And if you haven't read it, Miss Leo Bennett did a write-up about kind of the history of it, how it started, why it started. I should be glad to send it out to the board if you haven't saw that. But I certainly want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and look forward to really seeing what this board's able to do. I'm excited about it over the next the new year. Alderman Bear, Vice Mayor Bear.
Just wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and be safe traveling. Some of us goes out of town and all that good stuff, so stay safe.
Thank you. Alderman Patrick.
I can agree with Vice Mayor Barrett.
Thank you, sir. Alderman Benstock.
I agree with Vice Mayor.
Alderman Cross.
I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you, sir. And Alderman Shooter.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, don't break it up. Click it or ticket.
Alderman Gillum.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Stay safe.
City manager comments?
I don't have any other than thank you very much for the productive 100 plus days that I've been here. We've accomplished quite a bit. I appreciate the vote of confidence y'all have given me, and we're going to continue on the path. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Everyone, Merry Christmas. Stay safe, and I'm very thankful for the blessings that we have.
Yes, sir. CMFO.
I want to say thanks to everybody for all the cooperation. We've got a lot of things accomplished in a short period of time that Jim and I have been here. We appreciate your confidence. I will say the website has been launched. The new website is live, so you can go check that out. It's the same web address as before, mountcarmelta.gov. And this is a temporary website, and we're going to have a more developed website in about 6 months or so. So go ahead and take a look at that and let everybody know about that. And Merry Christmas to everybody.
City attorney.
I would like to say it's been a pleasure to see the new board come together. You've been through a big agenda tonight. You had a lot of issues. And, It bodes well for the future. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Oh, that